AudioJungle.
New points on work permits for foreigners in Vietnam under Labor Code 2019 and Law on Investment 2020, Part 2. Secondly, the law stipulates that foreign investors investing in Vietnam through two forms including establishing economic organizations and investing in the form of stake, share purchase, capital contribution to economic organizations will not be subject to be granted work permit. However, it is not clear that the investors of other two investment forms, which are investment in the form of a PPP contract and investment in the form of a BBC contract, are eligible for being granted work permit. Comparing with the provisions at Article 172 of the Labor Code 2012 on the cases of not issuing work permit, we make clearly that the investors of PPP and BBC contracts is not subject to be granted work permit. Thus, this regulation seems to make inequality among investors when investing in Vietnam. 2. Regulations on foreign investors, work permits as prescribed by the Labor Code 2019 and the Law on Investment 2020 which took effect from the date of January 1, 2021. At Clause 19, Article 3 of the Investment Law 2020 stipulates that foreign investors are individuals with foreign nationality. Organizations established under foreign laws and conducting business investment activities in Vietnam. Similar to the regulations on foreign investors in the Law on Investment 2014, foreign investors include two entitles who are individuals with foreign nationality and organizations established under foreign laws. Foreign investors can invest in Vietnam through Rule 5 investment forms, including establishing economic organizations, capital contribution, share or stake purchase, implementation of investment projects, investment in the form of BCC contract. New forms of investment and new types of economic organizations according to government regulations. In order to make conditions for foreign investors invest in Vietnam, according to Clause 1 and 2, Article 154 of the Labor Code 2019, there's some cases in which foreign investors are not required to be granted WP including 1. The owner or capital contributor of a limited liability company with a capital contribution value conformable with regulations of the government. 2. The chairperson or a member of the board of directors of a joint stock company a capital contribution value conformable with regulations of the government. Similar to the provisions of Law on Investment 2014, Law on Investment 2020 stipulates that foreign investors are the owners or capital contribution of limited liability companies or members of the board of directors of joint stock company will not be eligible to be granted work permit. The difference is that the Labor Code 2019 specifies conditions for foreign investors who contribute capital with a certain value, or the government will later provide in detail, and meet the condition of this capital contribution are not eligible to be issued work permit. Although currently, the government has not guided the value of capital contribution related to the exemption of granting work permit, this regulation will set a minimum level of capital for foreign investors to contribute capital to businesses. This amendment overcomes regulations that foreign investors taking advantage of a small capital contribution to a limited liability company to stay and work in Vietnam under the Investment Law 2014. However, in order to take best results, there needs to be regulations guiding the handling of foreign investors investing in Vietnam. Before the Labor Code 2019 comes into effect and the capital is insufficient with regulations of the government. Moreover, the above-mentioned provisions have not yet clarified that the remaining three forms of foreign investors' investment in Vietnam, which are implementation of investment projects, investment in the form of BCC contract, and new forms and new types of investment of economic organizations under the government's regulations, are exempted from work permit or are required to grant a work permit. To make equality for foreign investors invest in Vietnam, we think that all forms of foreign investors investing in Vietnam shouldn't be subject to be issued work permit to omit the administrative procedures, save time for foreign investors and facilitate favorable conditions for foreign investors invest in Vietnam. Besides, there should be additional regulations to manage the residence, the purchase of real estate and other practical activities of foreign investors to ensure that the main policy and administration is strict, but the management in terms of the reality of residence and labor is lax, leading to investment is not attractive. But there are negative problems when a part of foreigners live in Vietnam causes negative consequences for security and national defense.